Danielle says, is it true that physical appearance does matter to a man, or is that a myth? Well, of course it matters to a man. I don't know how you would not think. It actually matters to most people, men and women. However, it tends to matter more to a guy initially, but it's not everything, right? It is important, and it is something, right? Because guys are visual creatures, and we see things and we see what we like, and we're, really attracted to it. And it can really help a lot with his attraction towards you if he's physically attracted to you from the very beginning there, Danielle. However, it's not everything. I have a friend, and I've talked about this in other live streams, and we were good friends in college, and he was absolutely known for dating these really thin blonde women. And that's all he ever dated, was really thin, really thin blonde women. And one day he ended up with this woman who wasn't thin and she wasn't blonde, right? And they started dating each other, and they're dating each other for a while. And I remember everybody was like talking about it. They're like, yeah, his name is Mike. And they're like, yeah, Mike, it's like, I don't know. He's like dating this other woman. She's really beautiful, but she's not like because we would always, whenever we go out to bars or go anywhere, we'd always see Mike with a thin, pretty blonde girl, right? And so like he ended up with this other woman who was she was very good looking. But she was a lot thicker, right? She's like thick, right? Like real thick. And I remember leaving. I left. I went to school in Scottsdale, Arizona, and I left Scottsdale. I left ASU, which was the school I went to, and I came back a few years later, and I ran into Mike, and he was still dating this woman, right? And I was just like, okay, I got to talk to him about this, right? And so like we sat down and we were talking, and I was like, hey man, I got a question for you. You know how you always used to date like these really thin blonde girls? Everybody knew that that's what you're into. And he was like, yeah. And I was like, you're dating, her name's Lindsay. I was like, you're dating Lindsay now. And, I think she's a very wonderful person. She's really cool and really awesome, but she's not, like the thin blonde girl that you used to go for. And he's like, you're right, man. He's like, I don't know. It's just, when I met her, and it's just like, ever since then, there's something about her. It's just like the way she moves and the way she talks and the way that she like kind of comes over and like touches me. And I don't know, there's something about her that just makes me want to grab her and just rip all of her clothes off and make love to her and just kiss her all over her body and just, tell her how much I love her and just all those things, right? And what I realized about it was actually her feminine energy, right? It was that emotional connection that she has to herself. And she's like this dancer, right? And she loves to dance, and she just gets into her body, and she's just moving around, and she's just really comfortable with herself and her body and her emotions and just being connected and all that kind of stuff. And it just really pulled him in. And so, yeah, physical stuff is important, right? There's a lot of things to physical stuff that is important. And at the same time, it's not everything. There's an emotional connection that many times can overcome that physical attraction that a guy has for a woman. And that deeper emotional connection is that thing that ends up growing into love and all these other things. And so it is absolutely something that is important. And there's things that, since there's only so much you can do about it, right? I think it's important that you take care of yourself, and you're doing lots of things to make sure that you're strong and healthy, and you're conveying healthy traits, that you have it together and all that kind of stuff. And at the same time, there's only so much that you can do about it, right? Unless you start getting plastic surgery and all that kind of stuff, which I don't recommend. I recommend that you build your self-esteem, that you connect with your body, that you build your connection to yourself, and that you get into your energy, and you use that and use your emotion to connect with men. That's a much, much better way to do it. Much better way to do it.